Okay. Does it sound better through this mic? So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Malta Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise and Industry, the true and vibrant voice of the Maltese business community that, I have to remind you, will celebrate 175 years of solid representation in a year's time. 2023 will be our 175th anniversary. So we are by far the oldest employer body and the only one which is established by the Commercial Code. And that is something which I urge you to keep in mind, especially in an age where the amount of effort that we're seeing from other organizations to emulate what we are doing is almost flattering. I urge you also to have a look around you at the hall. So we talked a lot about the maintenance works that are being done, but we are also trying to upgrade the building to reflect what this organization is becoming. The floors have been sanded and polished, so those are the authentic old parquet floors. The idea is not to replace what we have that is old and authentic, but to refresh it. We've painted the hall. The pictures have been returned to the wall. Everywhere I go, I get asked whether these paintings will be removed, and I always say no, at least not on my watch. Because these paintings are portraits of gentlemen who have built the commercial community of this country over 175 years. They've contributed to the building of our economy, and we are proud of our legacy. Unfortunately, there are no women among them, but the composition of our head table today is a sign that the Chamber is keeping ahead with the times. Actually, we're trying to stay ahead of the times, and I understand that the pace at which the Chamber needs to move today may be a little bit uncomfortable for some. But this is where we are, and if we want to be ahead of the curve, we have to keep this pace. So, I need to remind you as well about the role of this Chamber. I think we need to keep in mind that today, the Malta Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise and Industry is the most gender diverse organization on MCESD. They recently issued a gender diversity report, and frankly, had the Chamber not been part of MCESD, it would have been embarrassing for them to issue the report. So I think this is something that we need to be proud of as well, just as we need to be proud of the loyalty and pride of our most senior respectable members today, and the energy and enthusiasm of our young members who are shaping our country's future. And our ability to attract young entrepreneurs within our ranks, I think, is something that we need to take very, very seriously, because this is how we remain relevant. Today, the Malta Chamber is the business community's interlocutor with all governmental authorities, with all political parties, with all resident and non-resident embassies, with all academic institutions, and with all media houses. We are attracting some of the best talent in business, policy making, and communications, and when they start working with us, they flourish because there is real fire in this organization. It's not just a question of holding a seat somewhere. It's about getting things done. Businesses that want to make a real difference in this country approach us not just to become members, but also to sponsor our policy work and the various events which we organize to bring people together and to project the voice of business. The relentless pace at which we are operating today in terms of both the breadth and the width of what we do, and the level of engagement, not only with the business community and relevant authorities, but also with various sections of societies, is delivering results. The Malta Chamber today is highly visible in the media, but what people see out there, I can assure you, is only the tip of the iceberg of what is actually happening here and within our businesses even though it looks, even to me, when I sit at my computer and I start getting all those pop-ups, that we're a little bit too much out there. But believe it or not, it's very little of what we do that is actually going out there. So you can only imagine how much is going on in here. I think that a lot of the work that we are doing today also will reap results in future years, because we are not here to justify our 2-year term as a council, but we are here to make sure that future councils will have what to build on. Today we speak clearly, we speak with conviction, we are not very tolerant of ambiguous statements, and significant investment in terms of thought, time and energy has gone into shaping our policy positions on several fronts, and we continue to renew this every day so that we remain ahead of the policy curve. And we're trying to change a little bit the way we do policy discussions. Some of you might have followed the debates in the run-up to the elections. You know, there are entities that find it difficult how we can one day take a position against something that a particular entity has said, and the next day appear next to the same entity endorsing something else that that particular entity is doing. But this is what the Chamber is about today. We support or object to positions, not to faces, not to people, not to organizations. We do not only react to what matters for business, but we are on the lookout to anticipate relevant developments such that we can truly influence policy and set the agenda. Business needs to be in the driving seat, and the speed of business today, the speed of the world today, is fast. Business needs to be able to communicate and to inspire all sections of society. We cannot be speaking to each other only, because we do not exist in a vacuum, we exist in an ecosystem of a society, a political world, an international, highly globalized environment, and we need to be able to communicate on all levels. Our council, I have to say, and I say this with a lot of pride, is committed and aligned. We have had 20 council meetings and 17 board of management meetings in the last 12 months. That's almost a meeting every week. All 19 council members have attended more than 75% of these meetings, and most more than 90%. Our staff is working literally round the clock. We may close the front door at 5 p.m., but you will catch several of them slipping out through the back door at least a couple of hours later every day, as happens in our own business organizations, because the Chamber needs to look increasingly more and more like our businesses. And our people love their work. I can tell you this, hand on heart, they love what they do. And they work brilliantly together. The level of teamwork that I'm seeing here is phenomenal, I have to say. They do it with passion, and they do it with pride, and they own their job. With this level of commitment and enthusiasm from members, sponsors, and staff alike, it is possible to achieve a lot even with a relatively staff complement of 20 people. The results that will be presented today are a testament to this. I have to commend not only the sterling work of our staff, but also the generous contribution of our members who serve on council, on executive boards of economic groups and business sections, on our thematic committees, and on the various boards of the entities, the many entities, I have to say, on which the Malta Chamber is represented. Our engagement today in many of these boards, as well as on the boards of the Malta Business Bureau and our PPPs, Trade Malta, Tech MT, and Education Malta, is active and aligned with the policy priorities of the Chamber. Our representatives on these boards are active members who are constantly in the loop of our internal communications. And while our membership base grows every day, the level of engagement of our members who are constantly engaging to contribute towards policy formulation and representation of their sector keeps growing. This is how our members derive value from their membership of the Chamber. At a time when the challenges for business seem to multiply with each turn of global events, we do well to stand together within the structures of this respected organization and its landmark building. A lot of work is happening on the building, as I have already said, and this is happening to develop the full potential of the building for business networking and for positioning it as a historic building, which it is, with its unique character and its cultural heritage value. Also, The efforts that we're making to reduce the carbon footprint are another sign that we really want to practice what we preach with regards to sustainability. In a similar way, we are also actively engaging with the upcoming generation. We constantly say that education is the key to the future of business, and that education is much broader than schooling. And we are therefore involving ourselves in the broader process of education through various forms of interaction with young people. Our own Young Chamber member network for members under 40 is gaining ground, and we have recently launched a Global Shapers Hub under the umbrella of the World Economic Forum for youths 18 to 30 who have the potential to inspire change. Our engagement with education institutions, particularly the University of Malta and MCAS, is also gaining momentum, and we are at the forefront of promoting industry-academia collaboration in both research and vocational education. We are also proud to be an unyielding voice on good governance and sustainability, and that our positions on these matters are clear and consistent. No one doubts where the Chamber stands on these issues. The Malta Chamber will continue to be the voice of ethical business because we believe in fair competition in doing business on a level playing field. And we are also working hard on this within the European dimension when we have renewed the Chamber's engagement on the challenges of operating from a micro-island state within the single market. We have also just taken the first steps to revive the Malta Chamber Foundation, conscious of the legitimate expectations of some of our members that we engage more in philanthropic activities. The extent to which all these initiatives will be effective depends greatly on the engagement of our members. I therefore urge you to actively contribute to the work of the Chamber and to make the best possible use of this platform and of the connections and resources that we have. The door of the Malta Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise and Industry is wide open for business, and our staff will actually be knocking on your doors if we don't see you around. Because the mission is clear: to support, to represent, and to connect businesses to grow and engage in shaping Malta's future. Our staff today is going around those businesses that we don't see much here on what we're calling a member outreach program. Because this is the best way that they can learn what is actually happening in the industry and be much better advocates for our business. Special thanks, of course, goes to the Board of Management, especially Deputy President Chris Vassallo Cesario, Vice President Liz Barbaros-Sant, Vice President Nick Xuereb, and of course to our now well-established, rather than new CEO, Dr. Marta Sportelli, for their sterling commitment to their respective roles. It has been a real pleasure to work with you all this year, and I look forward to doing so again for another year as we continue this journey together. I am also confident that with such a strong team at the helm of the Chamber, this organization will continue growing from strength to strength in the foreseeable future. Thank you.